I still cannot believe how fast it happened. So from first contraction to holding our little baby in our arms, it all happened in just 20 minutes. Right here at home, no midwife, no doctor, no hospital. It was just my husband and myself. It was crazy fast, but it was a beautiful, amazing experience. And I'm gonna be sharing it all with you in today's video. So first off, this is our third child, and we named her Joyanna, and she is a beautiful, healthy little girl. We are so blessed to have her in our world. So we are now a family of 5, which is super crazy, but she is a very sweet and happy little baby. So let's get to the birth story. So I have a history of fast births. With my first child, I had him in 4 hours. And that again is from first contraction to being born. So then my second child was born in an hour and a half, which was super crazy. So I didn't know what to expect with my third. My midwife said that the third child's usually a wild card. I didn't know what to expect. I was trying to go into birth with an open mind, knowing that it could be long or it could be short, but I certainly didn't expect 20 minutes. So like my other births, I went overdue with her. I was 41 weeks with my first son and 42 weeks with my second child, and I also was exactly 42 weeks with her. So the day before she was born, I had an appointment with my midwife. We went ahead and did a membrane sweep. I was about 4 to 5 centimeters dilated. So the day she was born, it was just a typical day. I was doing stuff around the house. Nothing felt really off. I do believe I lost my mucus plug that morning. Other than that, I felt normal for being 42 weeks pregnant, very uncomfortable and large. My midwife had recommended doing the mile circuit, which is basically just 3 positions that you do for 30 minutes long. First position is lying on the ground with your butt up in the air, followed by laying on your side with your legs propped up in a very exaggerated position. Did that for 30 minutes, followed by 30 minutes of activity, lunging with one leg elevated, and then I did some movements on a birthing ball for 30 minutes. That is supposed to help encourage the baby into a good birthing position. I didn't notice that the baby dropped. A few days before, I had been sitting on the birthing ball doing some figure eights, and that I noticed that seemed to help the baby drop. The babies, they can kind of go up and down, so sometimes they'll be dropped down real low and then they'll just go right back up. And after the mile circuit, I didn't notice that the baby felt like she had dropped or anything, so no changes there. But otherwise, it was just a typical day doing whatever. We got ready for bed that evening and we went to bed around 10 o'clock. We were laying in bed. I was starting to doze off when all of a sudden I felt or heard this pop and this drop. It was a really weird sensation I haven't experienced before, and my initial response was that my water broke. And so I kind of was startled, and my husband had already gone to sleep, and so I kind of woke him up. I was like, I think my water just broke. And he jumped out of bed and turned the light on. He's like, okay, I'm gonna call your mom to come get the kids. So I was waiting for a gush or something, and I never felt it. I got up, I was waiting, nothing happened, went to the bathroom, and I never lost any fluid. So I'm still really not sure what that sensation was. So I don't know if maybe the baby just kind of dropped down into position, and that was just kind of this feeling of her dropping, or what. I really don't know what it was, but it was one of the weirdest sensations that I've had. It was very startling when you're almost asleep. So that was super weird. So we went back to bed, and then it was a few minutes later and I had a contraction. And I was like, okay. So I called my midwife and said, hey, I told her what happened, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna be, you know, heading your way. And I was like, well, are you sure? You know, because it wasn't like a crazy super strong contraction. With my other two kids, that first contraction was very distinct, but this wasn't like super like crazy like my other ones had been. So I was like, are you sure? Do you want to wait a little bit? And she was like, no, I'm just gonna go ahead, just because what happened last time, I don't want to, you know, be late. So I was like, okay, hung up, and then I had another contraction, and then at that point I started shaking, and I think a lot of it had to do with nerves. I was starting to get really nervous, but then also I think just the hormones and everything started kicking in like crazy, and I just began trembling. So my husband had called my mom, and my mom came and got the kids. So in total, from the first one, I had about 3 contractions in bed, and then I got up. I think I had one. I was like walking around the house. And then I hit transition. And with all my labors, when I hit transition, I just kind of lose it emotionally. Not like crazy, but it's just like this feeling of like, I can't do this. And so I'm just like telling my husband, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And he's like, you got this. I was just super nervous, and I was just shaking. And so anyways, then I just kind of like pulled it together, and I was like, and mentally, I was like, I can do this. And I went ahead and got in the shower, and I had a contraction in there, and I began pushing, and I started freaking out because I was like, okay, this is not this is not good, because I was like 5 contractions in. So I was like, okay, I was telling my husband, I was like, okay, call my sister-in-law. She had come to my previous birth. She lived just up the road, and I was like, call her, see if she can come, because the midwife is, you know, 50 minutes away, and this is not gonna happen. We had another friend that was a paramedic that lives nearby, and she had offered to come if we needed her to. And so I was like, call her, see if she can come. I knew it was really close. Then I had another contraction in the shower. I was pushing a lot harder, and I was like, oh, this is happening so fast. So then I had another contraction, and her head began to emerge. And so we were on the phone with my midwife, and I said to my husband, her head's coming out. And he's like, I don't see anything, I don't see anything. And I was like, I'm holding it in my hand, like her head's coming out. The midwife said, turn off the water. When she, you know, starts coming out, turn off the shower. And so he turned off the shower and then caught the baby. She just came out like super fast. So my husband caught the baby, and he said that she was still in the water sac until basically her body came out, and then the water sac broke. The midwives were like so envious. They were like, oh man, we wanted to, you know, it's pretty rare that the baby's born in the sac. So they were like, man, we really wanted to see that. Of course that would happen on a, you know, delivery that we're not at. But he said that she was like all blue in the sac, you know, as she come out, and my husband caught the baby. So I first called my midwife at 10:25. That was after my first contraction. And then she was born at 10:47. So that's 20 minutes. It's like crazy fast. So anyways, I'm on the floor in the shower. So then my sister-in-law arrived, and she was able to help get towels and stuff. So I was on my hands and knees when I delivered her. So I was able to turn around and sit down, and they held the baby, and I was able to kind of hold her on my lap. She just had such a short umbilical cord, I couldn't like pull her up on my chest or even my belly, so I just had to kind of hold her there. And then we just waited for the midwife. She just said, you know, you can try to deliver the placenta if you want to, or you can just wait till we get there and cut the cord. And so we just decided to wait. So I just sat in the shower for like 40 minutes or so with the baby on my lap. Our paramedic friend had arrived. She checked my pulse, checked the baby. Baby was breathing good, and so the midwife arrived. They clamped the cord and cut it. So then I was able to get out of the shower and went to the bed to deliver the placenta. I just had such a hard time. It wasn't wanting to detach. They gave me some herbs to help contract the uterus or something. That seemed to help, and I was able to eventually deliver the placenta, which with quite a bit of challenge. But anyways, got that done. We just hung out in bed, and then they did the newborn checkup and checked her weight and her measurements, temperature, her reflexes, and all that they did. and she was good. So then the midwives left about 2 o'clock that morning, and I've had a great recovery. I felt good. I've been trying to take it easy and rest, but it's hard when you have now 3 kids. Trying to take care of myself a little bit better this time than I have in the past. Anyways, but yeah, she's doing really good. She was 7 pounds and 4 ounces. She's nursing great and sleeps good and all the things. It's been good. So yeah, that's my crazy 20-minute birth story. It's actually quite scary to think that you can have a baby that fast. I was really trying to stay at the house around my due date time, just because I was nervous about another fast labor, but I certainly didn't think 20 minutes was possible. It's kind of scary that I could have a baby that fast, because like I could have been in the car somewhere or in the store and literally just dropped a baby. So that's a little concerning, but anyways, so that's my story. If you want to check out my other birth stories, I will leave those linked down below in the description box. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go and put this little girl down for a nap, and we'll see you guys in a later video. So here she is, our little girl. It's like crazy. It's like how something can be so small, but then after you get them out, you're like, how did that ever fit inside my belly? I don't know. But now I'm with my bigger kids. It's like, they're so big. So, but yeah, it's all good. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll see you guys later. Bye.